Hey everybody, good morning. I am sitting out here this morning on my deck, and I just was going through Facebook and I found a really good question. I thought I would answer it by video for you because I know that this question will probably help several of you. You've had this question before. The question is this. The student was getting ready to send the seller a letter of intent, but the problem is the seller wanted more than the house is worth. So just using round numbers, the seller wanted 150, but he goes on Zillow and finds that there aren't any other homes that sold for maybe more than 145, 140. So they want automatically from a starting point a price that's maybe $5,000 to $10,000 higher than what the house might be worth. So the student's wondering, now I'm going to add on the option deposit, which is I'm going to keep as my profit, and I'm also going to add on rent credits on top of that. So if the seller wants 150 and nearby homes are selling for 140, 145, I'm going to be adding on another $10,000 to cover my option deposit and to cover rent credits. What am I supposed to do? So anyway, by the way, I'm recording this on my iPad, and I hope it works. I'm really curious to see how this turns out. I hope you can hear me okay. Anyway, so similar homes are selling for 140. He's going to have to set his option price at maybe 160 to cover his profit that he's going to be making and the rent credits that he's going to be doing. So I told him there's two things you can do. Okay, two things. Number one, tell the seller to, actually there's three things, maybe. Tell the seller, number one, to lower their price. Okay, if they, they say they want 150, you come back with an option contract that says the price is going to be 160. They might say, whoa, what are you doing? It's not 160. I need, that's way high. Well, you can tell them, number one, you need to lower your price because I'm not going to lower my fee. You need to lower your price. Okay, that's number one. Or number two, you can tell them, look, we can get you your price of 150. Let's say that's what they owe. But we're going to have to probably do a 3-year lease option agreement. Because the concern becomes, well, the reason why this is such a concern to begin with in the first place is that you don't want to have the tenant buyer get ready to get a mortgage and the house won't appraise, so what's going to happen then? So if it's overpriced like that, you need to set the lease option agreement at least 3 years out, maybe 4, maybe 5 years, but you need to set the lease option agreement out. And if there's a concern about the price, you need to add a clause into the lease option that says if the house doesn't appraise, then the tenant buyer gets another 12 months without penalty. So the tenant buyer gets to extend the lease option 12 months and not have to pay any additional deposit or down payment or penalty. So that's number one. You could tell the seller to lower the price. Number two, you could tell the seller, look, we can do this still, but it's going to have to be probably 3 to 5 years long instead of the normal 1 to 2. Let's say the seller says, well, I don't want to wait 3 years. I don't want to wait 5 years. You could say, okay, well, we'll do 2 years. But we need to add a clause in there that says if the house doesn't appraise, then the tenant buyer gets to extend the lease option. They get more time. What you don't want to do is set the option price based on a future appraisal. Okay, you want to make sure that appraisal date is set in stone, and there's no debate, no questioning what it's going to be. Okay, if you set it up on appraisal, if you set up the option price based on the appraisal, whose appraisal do you go after? If the tenant buyer really wants it, they're going to get their own appraisal. It's going to be a low price. Or if it's not too high enough, they don't like that appraisal, they'll get another appraisal. It just opens a big can of worms if you make the option price determined by an appraisal. Those are two choices. And the third choice that you could have, if the seller objects, hey, you can't sell this thing for 160, say, look, I'll tell you what, I'll set it up where you can keep the entire option deposit, and I'll teach you how to sell your house as a lease option in exchange for 1 month's rent as a consulting fee. So you can then turn around and offer your services as a consultant and say, look, I can show you a way to make even more money. You can keep the entire option deposit. Just pay me as a consultant, and I'll teach you how to do a lease option, and my fee is just 1 month's rent. I term it as 1 month's rent instead of my fee is $1,500 or whatever. So as a consultant, what do? You're going to teach them how to advertise the home, how to market it, how to take the calls, how to show the home, how the paperwork works, how to protect themselves. You tell them, I have very good landlord-friendly contracts. You're going to show them how to fill it fast. And then you can even offer your services to help them when it comes to reviewing the application, pulling the credit. You're also going to sell the fact that you have the resources, you have the title company that can handle all the paperwork, and the attorney that can handle all the paperwork. You have the mortgage broker, and you have the credit repair company that can make sure that the tenant buyer gets into a good credit repair program and gets a mortgage down the road. So you can sell your services, your knowledge, and the tools and contacts and resources that you have. Okay, so instead of throwing this deal away, you now offer your services as a consultant. Many times I prefer to be a consultant. Even though I make less money, I spend a lot less time on those deals, and it's faster money. Okay, so you know, I've totaled the hours out, and you shouldn't spend more than 2 to 3 hours per seller on a consultant basis. Maybe 4 to 5 hours max, and to make $1,500, $1,000 for that, that's pretty good. Now, when you do offer your services as a consultant, you want to make sure you get paid up front. If they object, I might consider taking half now and taking the rest with payments over time. But that's for, I'm going to be talking and teaching more about that stuff later, because that's really, really important. So, hope you enjoyed this video, and talk to you later. Bye.